Hi everyone, my name is Christiana Williams, and today I am here with Sydney, and we're going to be talking about her music, her mental health, everything, life, and I'm from Teenage Mental Love, and we're basically a site that supports anyone out there, especially at a time like this where mental health is so important, and so many people are going through so many things, and they really need someone who can reach out to them and show them that they're not alone and that they're cared for. And I'm so happy to be here with Sydney, and we're going to jump right into the interview, and I'm going to link all of her social media, her Instagram, and everything all down below, and I'll also put my Teenage Mental Love website if you ever need anyone to talk with. So yes. So firstly, Sydney, I wanted to ask you, how are you doing mentally?
That's a very good question to start off with. I would say, during this whole time, this whole period has been a really big change for everyone. And I would say that, going through and doing what I'm doing with music and different things like that, it's been challenging as it is. And then kind of moving it back to COVID and everything that had kind of started hitting
Yeah.
and all of these different changes in the world has kind of opened my eyes, I think, more than anything. And I also think, as far as mental health goes, it's been hard for me to kind of cope with some of it, as far as, not being able to see my friends and go outside and have the normal inspirations that life can give you, when you're outside doing normal things and stuff.
Right.
Um, but then I also think that it's kind of opened my eyes to how much I had been taking for granted,
Mm.
and like how important family is and has been for me, and this definitely kept me a lot more stable than I could be if I was alone.
Great. Yeah. Yes, that's amazing. I love that. And I also wanted to add, when it comes to like family, a lot of people when they grow up with a strong family, it really helps with mental health because they feel like, yeah, they always will have someone to reach out to and speak with. So I wanted to ask you about your life, like growing up and everything.
Yeah, for sure. Well, so like, a lot of people know me either through my sister or like for my music and stuff. So me and my sister, Sienna, we grew up and we both kind of started acting around the same time. I
Mm,
kind of picked up like pageants and stuff, and
yeah.
then she started picking up pageants, and then we started moving into like theater and different things
Oh.
like that. And a lot of the time, like our main theme of life
Mm,
was just very not chaotic, but
mm.
we were always moving and
Oh,
doing
yeah,
something
yeah.
and trying to like progress in some
Mm,
way.
yes.
We had like gymnastics 3 or 4
Oh,
times
wow.
a week. I had other sports while she was doing um some other like extracurriculars.
Mm,
I did dance, she did dance. Like there was a whole bunch of different things throughout the week
yeah.
that kept us so busy.
Yeah.
Um, and I think it definitely helped us as far as performing arts go now, because
Mm,
everything's so like fast
yeah.
paced.
Yes.
And especially in LA, everybody's like going and going and going, and like you have to be on time. You're
Yeah.
late if you're on time, be early. Like different
Yes.
things like that. But as far as that goes, um, our like growing up was very like fast, but it was also like we got to experience a lot,
Mm,
and because of our family and like our support system with our mom and our dad and everybody
mhm.
surrounding, I would say that we were able to have those opportunities because of that, you know.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely. And that's amazing. And I absolutely love that because you're right. Like growing up with a fast environment, like it really does prepare you, and especially for how successful you are. And like you brought up your sister, it really shows like you guys are really, really, like perfect for this kind of, life basically. And yes, and I also wanted to say, in through life, like growing up, I know a lot of things can like impact someone's mental health, especially when growing up. Like, I wanted to ask you if there's any event where like you realize how mental health was so important in your life.
That's a good question. I feel like there's a lot of events
Mm,
that have definitely impacted like the way that you think and
mm,
and like what I believe, and definitely has affected our acting and my
Mm.
singing and my songwriting. But I feel like probably, oh gosh, I would say that in 2016, my grandma actually ended up passing
Oh.
away. And that was during the time that it was really hard on everyone because my sister and my mom were traveling during that time, and she was filming and stuff. And it was just me and my dad back home.
Mm.
And they were literally on the flight trying to get back
Wow.
in time for all of that.
Yeah. Yes.
And unfortunately, like my grandma was too weak to hold on like any longer. But that was definitely a pinpoint in my life where there were a lot of things that I realized were so important,
Mm-hmm.
like, and waiting, you know, different things like family and like my school activities and keeping up with like this is my progress towards my future rather than like here's what's happening now, and like and having to handle the stability of like a household while like I'm very close to my grandma, but also I have to be a rock for my dad, and also, you know, keep everybody intact as far as like leaving and the guilt, you know, everything is just very like emotions are high.
Yeah.
And I think that was the first time that we all and I had to experience um the state of like being present and like having to be strong and like how are we going to move forward and different things like that, you know.
Of course, yeah.
So definitely hard, but
that's, well, I'm really sorry for your loss, and but I love how you said like being a rock for your dad and everything, and that really shows like how close your family is, and that's wonderful. And when it comes to like mental health and such, is there any time like music, like I know you're a songwriter as well, has music ever helped you through like a hard time?
oh, absolutely,
Oh yeah,
all the
yeah,
time.
that's amazing.
It's definitely like I was writing something the other day, and it was more of like a writing about my songwriting, writing about my
Yeah.
music, not necessarily songwriting, but I was talking about how songwriting and music can be like my worst enemy and my best friend at the same time,
Yeah.
because it's the one thing that will always listen to me,
Mm-hmm.
but it also just can only tell truth, because once you see everything that you've written on the pages,
Yes.
you have to look back and kind of hold yourself accountable for everything that you said and like happened, you know, especially if you're using like real life to kind of establish your songwriting storyline, you know.
For sure.
So,
Yeah.
what, like, you know, if we're doing like some sort of relationship song, which so many songs are written like that, like it's like, was he really that bad, or am I just kind of like, upset?
I hear
Like,
you.
you know,
Yeah, of course. Yes.
so definitely has helped. It's definitely an outlet to kind of get me out of my head.
Mm-hmm.
It's definitely put me there in a hard place. It's definitely brought me to extreme emotions of like wanting to cry, but then wanting to like be mad, and then wanting to be really happy and stuff. But I think all of that is really healthy with trying to get through everything, because you're kind of making them known and aware, and you're like saying, here they are, this is happening.
Yes.
Something, you know what I mean?
Of course, yeah, and that's amazing. Yes, and just like you said, like sometimes we write with emotions, and like you could be at the highest point, like the most you've ever felt, and then that's when you pour out everything and you write your songs, and that is amazing, and I love that process too. And in and I wanted to say like yes, yeah, and I wanted to also add like when it comes to songwriting, do you remember the first time like you ever wrote a song or started singing?
I do actually. I remember singing has been kind of like in my bones for a while, just because I used to do it with my dad. But that wasn't really why I liked doing it. I mean, like I liked entertaining and making people kind of feel something.
Of course.
When I was on stage, you know, like I loved seeing people smile, and I loved people like laughing at what I was doing. Hopefully not at me, but like
yes.
me.
Yes.
But um, but then I kind of realized too that the first time I'd written a song that I actually think actually hit someone
Mm,
um, was when I was in my senior year of high school. And that was when I kind of started to realize like I wanted to actually take songwriting seriously.
yeah.
And I ended up writing something based on people in my life or different events in my life
Mm,
had that I had gone through
yeah.
that were relating to like suicide and different things
Wow.
like that and suicide prevention.
Mm,
And I wanted to kind of write something that was like the take of the person experiencing it. And, you know, like a lot of these people who are hurting like that
mhm,
feel like there's no one who understands or no one who listens or knows what's happening.
mm,
And I wanted it to be like, hey, look, um, there is help for you. People are watching, you know,
yeah.
like they want to help you. And
Yes.
then I wanted to reverse it on the other side too and be like, all of these people outside, hey, look, someone's hurting as well. You
Yeah.
know,
Wow.
like she is asking for help even though
Yes.
she may not be saying it, you know, like, or something like that. And so I wrote a song like that and it's called Autumn Falls.
Mm.
Her name, like, I just named her Autumn and it was kind of like a little cliche of like Autumn Falls. So,
Yeah.
like, it
Yeah.
was like,
Yes.
yeah,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
But I had performed it one night for the first time, and someone in particular came up to me, and I didn't know who they were,
Mm.
and and they just said, "You have no idea how much I've waited for someone to say that,"
Wow.
and I was like, oh wow, like
Yeah.
you know, I did not like think that it would affect someone that much, and he was like, "Thank you,"
Wow.
and then before I could even really say anything, he had left. And so
Oh.
I was like, wow, he was really just wanting to tell me something. He didn't even
Yes.
want me in return. And so that's when I knew, like, this is actually, I need to be careful what I'm saying. I
Mm.
need to make sure that what I'm saying is something that is important to be said because people listen. You know what
Yes.
I mean?
Of course.
So, which is a very powerful thing.
Yeah, and that's amazing. And I love so much that you said he because there's a stigma around yeah yes there's a stigma around mental health moreover with just women or young girls, but moreover he like that's amazing.
Definitely
Mm,
changes the whole thing. And it's true, you know? It's just a matter of what kind of facade you put up, you know?
of course, yes. I love that, and I love how you took two sides. Like a lot of people, they kind of just take one side with the song, which is wonderful, of course. But you went like both ways, and that's amazing. And that kind of reminds me of the Logic song that was very popular around a certain time. It was like yes, the suicide hotline number, and yeah, I remember he started off like where it was he was singing about a guy who was feeling suicidal, but at the end he noticed how many people were reaching out to him and cared for him, and at the end he took a different side, and it was about him not wanting to commit suicide anymore, which is amazing.
It's so cool to have growth in those types of songs too,
Yes.
because, you know, like the whole point about an artist, songwriting and stuff, and the whole point of these people or fans or whatever wanting
Mhm.
to be a part of the song or wanting to listen to it is they want to hear their story. You know, like
Of course.
everybody wants the truth, everybody wants to
Yes.
grow.
Yeah.
There's so many things that we hide so many things,
Hmm.
like people just want they want to know the truth. So
Of
it's like,
course.
why hide
Of
anything else? Why
course.
not be a part of let them be a part of the
Yeah.
growth? You know,
That's so true.
let it
Yes. Yes, that's amazing. And do you remember the first time like you picked up an instrument?
no.
Oh wow,
um,
yeah.
I think I think I started picking up an instrument like when I was around 7 or
Wow.
something.
Yeah.
We definitely like to explore our options for sure.
Yeah.
I took like piano lessons for a little bit. I tried learning
Mm.
guitar from my dad.
Aw.
I did drums for a little bit. We even tried to do violin. It was a
Wow.
very like what is gonna work for you?
Of
like
course, yes.
oh yeah.
Wow, I completely understand, and I relate with that so much because I feel like that's for a lot of people too, especially me. Like I did the same thing: violin, piano. I did dance too, just like you, and I find that so funny. Like to see what will stick with someone, especially when you're young.
Absolutely.
Yes. Yes, and I wanted to say, like in your bio, this is more of like in your Instagram bio. I realized that you had put like Hawaii, and you said it's greater or better than LA. And I wanted to say, is that like Hawaii like a home? Like I know you were from there, but like is it a home for you, like a safe place?
Oh yeah,
Wonderful.
I was born and raised in Hawaii.
Mm,
So like it was interesting because the whole fast pace about
mhm.
us doing things all the
Yeah.
time is very contradictory to Hawaii itself.
Yeah.
Very like relaxed
Of
and
course.
chill and stuff,
Yeah.
and it's like go with the flow.
Hmm.
But we definitely had a little bit of LA starting out in our bones somehow,
Yeah.
and then but LA is a totally different beast when you actually get there, and it's like wow, culture shock. Did not know what I was expecting to
Yes.
see or
For
like be part of.
yeah.
But yeah, it's definitely been a home. We're back here now.
Mm.
Not sure when I'm going back yet
Wow.
until everything's cleared up
Of
and stuff.
course.
But
Yeah.
my a lot of my family's back home here.
Oh, that's amazing, though. That's so wonderful. I'm so happy for you. And of course. And I wanted to also add on your song, Glitter in the Air, the cover that you did. Well, your cover, I meant to say, yeah, from Pink is amazing. And that's, of course, you're welcome. Yes. And I love your music so much, especially songs that you wrote, songs that you cover. It's really great. And when it comes to singing, I kind of wanted to say, like, do you remember any time, like you said, a song that really made an impact was Autumn Falls? And do you remember any time like you've done something and like it gained so many, like such an audience, and you're like, wow, like this is really impactful to people? Because I know Autumn Falls, like it gained someone who told you that, wow, thank you for doing this. Yeah, so I wanted to ask about that.
Autumn Falls was definitely a big hard hitter for a
Yeah.
lot of people
Yes.
when I would show them that song. It's hard for me to want to like release it
Mm,
as like my own thing
of course.
because I don't really want to put like this sort of like artist on it,
Of
Like
course.
I
Yeah.
don't want it to have um I don't want it to be like tainted in some
Hmm.
way for like my artist genre, my artist column. I want that to be its own separate truth.
Yeah.
But it was definitely picked up by a lot, especially because of the songwriting and like
Hmm.
the story that it told. But I think as far as something that I actually would probably put out as my own or is out on Instagram right now is What You Mean to Me.
Ooh,
Um,
yeah.
that was a short little original clip that I did. I actually recorded that in my vocal lesson
Yeah.
because I was like, we're practicing
Yeah.
songs,
Yeah.
we're warming up. Might as well do
Yeah.
my own song
Yes.
here.
Yes.
So we did that, and it kind of impacted a lot of people without me
Wow.
really realizing it.
Yeah.
And people were doing covers of it, and I was like, "This isn't
Wow.
even out. I don't
Yeah.
understand.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like good." But I think it was just because people could really relate to it,
Of course.
and it's a true story. I mean,
Yeah.
like it happens to me a lot, and it happened to me during the time that I was writing the song, and it's kind of like that thing about you don't know where you stand with
Mhm.
someone, but you ultimately, even though you feel like you have the strength to say no, you don't,
Mm,
because you
mhm.
just would give the world to this person,
Yes. Yes.
and you would give the world to them just for them to say like, yes, you are enough. I want to be with you. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Wow.
Or
Of
like,
course.
it's that whole sort of thing, and it's a very like very special for mental health awareness in
Mhm.
this case,
Yeah.
because kind of like in the pre-chorus I say, gosh, I haven't even listened to the song in a while.
Mhm.
It's some I forget, but it's something about like I'm picking up the phone
Mm,
because I have no self control. You
yeah.
know, take me high, take me low. It's like you can bring me up and you can take me down,
Hmm.
but I'm still going to be there
Yeah.
because I can't control the way I feel about you and what I would do for you,
Yeah.
which is so scary and so powerful for someone to have all of that power over someone.
Yes.
It's very important to, like, remember your worth,
Oh,
definitely.
definitely. Yeah.
Especially in situations like that, you know?
Of course, yes, and I love that so much. And when it comes to mental health, I wanted to ask, not only family, but do you have any friends like who are always there for you and help you through any hard times?
Absolutely.
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean, um, my family, yes, definitely.
Yeah.
My sister is like
Oh,
my best friend probably right now.
oh,
So
yeah.
that's like we've been there for each other through like everything.
Oh,
Um, and luckily we've had that sisters and friend bond.
wow, yeah.
But I've definitely had people growing up in my life that have always and will always be there for me. And sometimes I don't understand why, because it's like I don't know what I did to
Oh,
have you be so incredible.
yeah,
But when you find that, it's something to definitely hold on to
for sure.
and realize, like what you have.
Hmm.
Because I mean, they're giving you all of their energy and stuff, but you also have to realize like they have a lot going on in their life too. And
Yeah.
to be able to give you that energy and give you that support is something so special, and you can't let go of that.
Yeah, of
Yeah.
course. That's amazing. And I love that so many people have that because a lot of people out there really don't have someone who's there for them always. And like you said, like, what did you ever do to like even like receive such amazing friends, which is such a wonderful thing. Yeah. And I completely relate with what you say. And when I started this, I wanted to just say like people out there, they don't really have that person who's with them all the time or who will always, be there for them when they're alone. And, it really hurts me to see that. And I love what you said about like having friends and having someone who's there for you. So, yes, I love that answer. And when it comes to like having friends also and having people who follow you or like or just keep up with your music or having a community of people behind you, I wanted to say, what's that like, who always support your work too?
To have the community
Yeah.
behind me,
Yes.
it's a weird and incredible thing.
Oh, yeah.
It's scary in the way that you could have power to kind of affect the way that people think. So like going back to with like songwriting, you have to be very careful with what you say on social media, through
Mm-hmm.
everything. You kind of end up, if you're not meaning to, you accidentally end up being a role model or different things.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's very important for people to be aware of that, especially when they start to have a following.
Mm-hmm.
um, my sister more than me, but it's like it's crazy to kind of see, the impact that you can have on people's lives, and the impact it really it holds on you too.
Of course.
It's definitely driven me to do a lot more than I feel like I would have done,
Mm-hmm.
which is also scary to think about. But I would say like I just want to take it as the positive it can be and is, and just kind of help me know that there are people who want me to succeed, and there are people who think the same way that I do,
Mm-hmm.
and want to spread the same ideas, and if they want me to do it, and if they let me, then for sure I'm so down,
Yes.
and I will definitely back everybody up, and now I want to do that.
Oh, yeah.
But it's important and it's very scary.
Yes, yes. I completely understand what you mean, and but I absolutely love that you said that you're so down. You love, people who are behind you, a community that follows you, supports your music. That is amazing, and that can happen through social media, especially when being an influencer or yes, and being someone who inspires people or influences people through social media. But I wanted to also go back to the to social media being like a toxic place. Do you feel like sometimes it can be like a really toxic environment?
I definitely think so.
Mm.
Like I don't think that that should be like a shy away sort of fact. I think that social media is a whole nother world, and it's a whole nother place for people to be
Mm.
someone new, recreate themselves.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's not honest, sometimes it's
Mm.
cruel, it's mean. Um, and sometimes you have to just turn it off,
Mm.
and you have to remember who you are, who you're with, who loves you, and what's real. You know, I think it's very influential, and um, I don't think it's healthy to be on it for as long as I probably am. Um, but I think there can be a lot of things learned from it, and I think it's a very cool and efficient and revolutionary way to get information and stuff.
Yeah.
But I also think it can be detrimental to humanity if it's not done right, you know?
Yeah.
So we definitely have to remember to have human connection, which is why it's really good to like have Zoom and different things like
Yes,
that,
yes,
because you're just talking on a screen
of
and
course.
typing whatever you want.
Mm-hmm.
Pretend like, oh, I can just delete it if I don't want to say that. That's not
Yeah.
real,
I
you
hear,
know?
yes, that's amazing. And when it comes to social media, I love how you went from both sides. Like, it can be amazing. Like, yes, we can learn so much, especially with everything that's going on with the world. We can learn so, so much just from going through posts and such and help spread the word, petitions, GoFundMe's. It's amazing. But then you have the side that's, the cruel people or the bots or the haters or whatever they call it. But I really love that you went to both sides. And when it comes to like social media, and a lot of people, they don't want to post their music, they don't want to show their talent or what they have because, yeah, because it's such a toxic environment and people are so harsh sometimes. And I wanted to ask you, do you have any advice for anyone when if you're like struggling or don't want to share what you have?
I would say the advice that I would want to give is you don't have to do it if you don't want to, for one thing.
Mm-hmm.
For a lot of people who sing and songwrite, it's a very sacred thing, because a lot of things are very vulnerable.
Yes.
And if you're not ready, don't make yourself ready yet. Like you can take your time.
Yeah.
But I think also with that, it's a really cool thing to kind of feel like if you feel like you you believe in yourself enough, or you don't care, if it's not going to be loved by everybody, because no one's going to love everything, like
Yes.
it's impossible. There are going to be opinions, and there are going to be people with criticism and stuff, and if that's something that you're worth like you are okay to take, then I say absolutely. Who cares what anybody thinks at this point? Like, this is what you want to say, this is what you believe. And if that's your goal to do it, like, you definitely can do it with consistency and practice and, remembering who you are, because everybody is so strong. It's funny because no one is perfect. No one does a song perfectly every single time. It takes me hundreds of takes to get a good one, I swear.
Yes.
But I think that the most important thing to remember is that everyone is imperfect, and that's totally perfect.
Yeah.
Yes. So if you remember that, it's incredibly empowering, and really no one can affect you in that way because it's your life.
Yes, that is amazing, and I love that. I really do love that. Like you said, it's your life, and like it's the only one you have. So
exactly.
Yeah. Yes, and that is amazing. And I wanted to say, your advice and your music and everything. It's so great. It's so powerful. And when it comes to also not only music and social media being toxic, do you have anything to say for people who also are struggling with mental health or are having a hard time, especially now?
Yeah, I would say that, um, this time is really hard, and you can put up a front or whatever on Instagram, but you never know what's actually on the other side of the screen. I don't I have a hard time with being able to justify why I hurt or why I feel sad or why I go through the things that I go through, because, sometimes you feel like you're not justified because of the place that you're in or the people that love you or whatever sort of situation, that you end up with. But you are, and you feel the way that you do, and that's totally okay. And I think as long as you start to either embrace it or know that it won't be forever, that you'll be able to get through it. because you will. You know, life will
Yeah.
go on, and you will have happiness, you will have love, you will have sadness, and everything is
Mhm.
all in balance.
Oh, yeah, that's
And
amazing.
it happens for a reason, you know?
Yeah. For sure, yes, everything happens for a reason. You're right with that. And when it comes to like your music and growing your platform and such, do you have any upcoming things for the future, especially if this coronavirus and everything is like all gone and everything?
Currently, I did a indie film last summer. I think it was last summer by now, and that's been sent to film festivals. So hopefully that will be out, or we will be able to see them at film festivals. So that will
Yes.
be out shortly. It's
Oh,
called West Michigan, and
yes.
I'm very excited.
Yeah.
And then I have music that has been in the works,
Wow.
and I'm hopefully going to be able to get it out either at the end of this year or the beginning of
Mhm.
2021.
Definitely.
So hopefully with that, look
Yes.
on my Spotify with that. But I'm also
Awesome.
just gonna start posting more covers, and I want to do more um, originals like on
Hmm.
my page and
Hmm.
stuff like that, and try
Def-
to get that going. So
yes.
hopefully I'll get some SoundCloud stuff
Yeah.
with my originals and just do it.
Of course, thank you. That's amazing. I love how you said that you decided that you want to go into music in senior year because it's like yeah, because I know like that's literally that year where you decide your path, if that makes sense. And yeah, so it can be stressful, but that's amazing that you did that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
yeah,
I mean, I'm still figuring it out
of
too. It's really
course.
like it's also not the end of the world. Like
Mm,
once you graduate high
of-
school,
for
there's
sure.
college and there's gap years and there's so many
Exactly.
opportunities waiting. You know,
Yeah.
so
For sure.
almost time to figure it out.
Of course, yes, perfect. Yes, like I know some people I want to say some people like they know they feel like they have their whole path figured out and then the whole thing can change in like an instant. Like yes. So
Exactly.
amazing and I'm really really excited. I'm definitely going to watch the film and I wanted to say and listen to your music because it's just so great. Like I really do love it and thank you to everyone who watched and I really hope that you guys know that someone will always be there for you. And if you ever need someone to talk to, you can definitely always reach out to my Teenage Mental Love page. I'll tag everything down below and link it all, and I'll link Sydney's Spotify, her music, everything, because it's just wonderful, and I really would love for everyone to hear it because it's really inspirational. And thank you so much for being here. Thank you for this opportunity.